Okay, thank you. Mr. Sabosley, if you'd take over.
Thank you. So we have about 13 items tonight on the agenda, and I do apologize on the manager's report. There is a typo at the top. It should say December 2nd, not November 4th. But the first two items up are under Planning and Economic Development, and Mr. Housley, I'd ask you to come to the microphone to present items 1 and 2. These items were originally presented last month, and they're still on our agenda.
Sure. Item 1 is the Wannagot plan of lots. This is just a simple subdivision. In essence, there's 2 single-family homes that exist on the property. That's one parcel currently. This subdivision will create 2 separate lots for sale, or transferable lots should they choose. The proposed consolidation did not comply with the zoning ordinance with relation to the lot width requirement for either of the 2 lots. So they did attend a zoning hearing board meeting on November 13th to discuss and have the variance approved. So that's happened. And in relation to the subdivision plan that was provided, there was a KU Resources compliance letter dated November 5th that they've yet to respond back to. So should you guys make this on the agenda for next week, we would ask that you make a conditioned on the KU Resources compliance letter and the zoning ordinance proceeding past the appeals time.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Yeah, so is the variance to, I assume both lots are now smaller than they need to be?
Yes, they're both smaller.
It's a fairly large tract, fairly large parcel. They're carving out 2 lots. One lot will be complying with the size limitation being over 15,000 square feet. It's the lot width that you cannot change because those 2 property lines are in existence. So they requested a variance to the lot width, which is required to be 75 feet. They do not have a total of, well, they have a total greater than 150, but can't split it to be 75 and 75. So it's 65 feet for one lot, fronting Milltown, and about 58 and a quarter or so for the second lot.
So they obtained the necessary variances to move forward.
Correct.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
Okay, item 2 is the SRK real property subdivision. This one's just a simple lot line revision intended for a potential land development that has not yet been submitted to the borough. We're under the assumption that that'll happen after the subdivision's approved. Again, it's just a simple lot line adjustment. The property zone highway commercial, and the plan as proposed complies with Plum zoning ordinance. However, we would like you to make any motions next week contingent on satisfying any outstanding comments in the KU letter, because they did reference Allegheny County's potential comments that were yet to come in. That's it.
Okay, so this is just a simple,
Lot line revision. The land development will come probably in a month or 2 after they get this approved. We're assuming that's when they're going to come in.
and then has to come back before the planning commission before they can do anything?
Yeah, the land development.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item.
Okay, moving to personnel management, item number 3 is simply the 2025 meeting schedule. You'll see in your manager's report the proposed meeting dates, which are traditionally the first Monday and second Monday of the month. The only deviations come in September for the first Monday of the month due to Labor Day holiday, and for the second Monday of the month, the October meeting due to Columbus Day. So this has been advertised, this meeting schedule, and we're asking council to vote on that at their meeting next week.
Do we want to add the December meeting in there? Because we usually make that an earlier time.
So we do, I think I see it here as December the 8th, and I don't have a calendar in front of me, but we were able to keep the schedule this month with the first and second Mondays, and I would hope we'd do the same.
Yeah, December.
Yeah.
So we just want to move the time for that one now?
No, let's wait and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, agenda item.
Items 4, 5, and 6 will be executive session items. Council will, at a future time, possibly after this meeting, go into executive session to discuss those personnel issues. Item number 7, under public safety, and oftentimes we talk about what committee this should be under, public safety personnel. It's tough to tell sometimes, but item number 7 is the 2025 Daylight Coverage Program, a proposal from the Plum Boro Chiefs Association. And I don't want to say too much. I see them here tonight and understand you're going to make a presentation. There have been, in the last year or so, we've talked about the decrease in volunteers, and certainly our volunteer fire departments are seeing that. And the issue is coverage during the daylight, making sure that there's fire department personnel able to show up when there is a call. In October, the Chiefs had submitted a proposal for a program to help cover that. Our personnel committee had met to talk about that at I think it was at the end of October, and recommended that we move forward with it. So turn it over to one of our chiefs here to come forward and talk about the proposal that they feel will help the safety of our residents here in Plum Boro.
Just to clarify, it's not a presentation, it is the executive session, so it's not what question on Thank you.
I didn't hear what you were saying, Vicki.
You're just here to discuss what the program is.
Okay.
To enlighten everyone. It's
Okay.
not a presentation of what the actual,
Okay.
wow.
So the program that was proposed to the PFCA was a combination of all 4 fire departments working on this. This is to help the fire departments, help the community, because that's the overall mission of every fire department here, with daylight staffing. Daylight staffing is the concern from all the fire department side. So we took some time and sat down and figured out what we could do as the 4 departments, with council's help as well, to help the residents. So we're still working through some things here. As Dave said, it's still under approval process, but this will allow us to hopefully get some people staffed during the day where we're having a tough time of getting people out the door to respond to these calls, to get some dedicated people here within town that can be out the door quick, to get on scene, to get started while the resources are on their way. So that's kind of the general philosophy of this. This is new to Plum Fire Departments, because this is going to be the first edition of any physical money possibly being exchanged to these members doing this. That's kind of part of the general overview of this program.
So when you're talking daylight, what specific days? Are you talking weekdays, weekends?
This will be business hours, so Monday through Friday, Paul.
2 shifts?
Right now, it's going to be, we're slated for 2 5-hour shifts, so 10 hours a day coverage.
So it's going to start at what time?
7
a.m.?
Yeah.
And go till what? 5 p.m.?
Yeah, 5 p.m.
Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday. We did, as if you dive into the contract, have some ability to adjust things. We have the U.S. Open going to be here. If there's need in other areas, there's a big community event, something like that going on, there's ways to adjust some shifts as well.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
I just got some comments. So we've discussed this program before. I'm very supportive of it. I think it's a great idea. But so you are going to have you're going to have 2 shifts of 4 people, like total.
That is the plan right now. That is under discussion, Dave, because the concern of this program still is just the physical. Are we going to have enough people to fill the shifts to start? So I'm not gonna stay up here, we're gonna guarantee 4 right out of the gate, because I'm not gonna go on record and say that. The idea is 4, 2 on each side of the borough. Is the goal of this program.
All right, well, yeah, because my concern is that we wouldn't be able to fill 4 and, you know, we'll get half, because you're limited by, the firefighters are all limited by how much money they can make by state law.
It is, but the amount of money is gonna take some time to get there, to hit that max threshold.
Well, we just want to make sure that we, you know, we pay attention to it, so if we see that we're not gonna be able to, you know, run the program for the whole year because we don't have the necessary available manpower, that we keep on it, you keep track of it, and you cut back to maybe, you know, just one shift of, you know, one shift
Yeah,
a day.
the
or
goal
whatever.
is the goal is to have basically a monthly end of month statement, so we can line item out where we're at per member spent per shift. So that will help to alleviate some of those if they're bumping that.
Because I really like to see this program succeed. I think.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, until we start this, I don't have all those answers for you right now.
So I'm very much in support of this also. So you're talking about 2 people for the one shift and 2 people for the other shift?
No,
Or 4
4
people and 4 people?
4 and 4, Paul.
And then you'll rotate between the four firehouses?
The goal is 2 on each side of the borough because there's square mileage coverage. If we can split, if we have 4 total, 2 will be on, we'll call it east or west, north or south, to get them coming from each way.
So the Fire Chiefs Association is in agreement with this, and you've taken it to your membership, and they're all in also?
From my department, it's went to membership. We recognize we need the help during the day, so.
And we have the money in the budget to cover this. So I think that, yeah, I think this is a great proactive stance to take. I'm completely in agreement with it. And I know getting it off the ground, we're talking about January. It'll be a progress in work for probably several months, but I applaud you guys for you know, bringing this forward to us. Love it. Thank you.
Paul, real quick question. Is there a community that we know of in Pennsylvania that's doing this already?
Mr. Taylor, there is quite a few starting to pop up.
Okay.
Chief Sims was gracious enough to get in contact with Unity Township out in Westmoreland County. That Chief out there was very gracious to kind of help us
Wonderful.
along.
Wonderful.
The other one that I just saw was out in McCandless. Berkeley Hills just started a stipend program as well. So this is starting to become,
Yeah.
well, we are definitely not the first, but we're on that front edge.
And you can pick, and you can pick their brains because they're there already. So
That's
a good
basically
thing.
how this all started.
Perfect, thank
So.
you.
So council, if you look in your packets, there is a copy of the proposal that was submitted by the Chiefs Association. And we've moved forward based on your presentation to our Personnel Committee. Our labor attorney has drafted a formal agreement. So I guess my question, Steve, are you ready to look at a draft of that, or are there other changes that you guys are still talking about before we would contemplate that?
Well, we're ready to look at it. So
Okay.
as soon as you get it, if you get it to us, we're ready to look.
Okay, if council decides to move this forward as an agenda item, I'd circulate that draft with you guys tomorrow.
Sounds great.
One other question, Steve. Where are these firemen coming from? You can have 2 from Unity, Unity, or 2 from,
So how the concept, Jerry, right now will work is we'll find the 4 people that are signed up for the day. We're not necessarily looking at which station they're from. They might
Okay.
not be at their home station. If I'm signed up and it makes more sense to be at Holiday Park for the day, the member goes to Holiday Park. So it's not gonna favor one area. We have to look at the community. This is built to help the citizens, not just an individual department.
right, but I guess what I'm getting at is there's no, it's not open to the outside
No,
Plum
so-
Boro. We're using our own.
Yeah,
Firemen here.
this is starting as our members. You have to be within a member of one of the 4 departments in good standing and hitting a set of minimum requirements, which are in that proposal, to be qualified to be into this program. Because we had to make those requirements to make sure if they got on scene, they were capable of handling the tasks. So right now, the manpower that this is going to be pulling from is going to be coming from one of the 4 Plum departments, not some outside department right now.
Okay. Hey, thank you.
All right, can I ask a question? Are you, you said you have 2 stations, one on each side of the borough. Does that mean you're gonna rotate all the stations, or do you have 2 designated stations?
Right now, the plan would be, if we get proper staffing, would be to rotate throughout all 4 Plum fire stations.
I see,
Not just 2 specific.
I see,
So-
okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Mine might be the final one. Can I use your microphone? My microphone. Okay, first off, as usual, I just want to thank you for everything that you do. And just for the public who's watching this, we have all 4 chiefs here from all 4 departments. So they came here tonight to show their support. Have you, my question is, have you reached out to your department and got a feel, like to gauge who might be interested to start January 1st? Has
So-
anyone?
So when I brought this up to my membership, there were 4 to 5 possibles.
Okay.
We're still fighting that battle. Everyone works daylight hours. So not everybody was super, hey, everybody was on board, but no one's right now going to take a day off work to do this. This is made to hopefully be used as a recruitment and a retention tool as well. You know, if you have a day off of work or something, like myself, I'm blessed with a work from home job. I can work from a fire station. So hopefully as this kind of develops, we'll get some more people. But I had 4 or 5 reach out to me that they're interested and they would meet every qualification that is listed right now.
How about the rest of the departments? Have you spoken to your
Yes,
members?
I have, yes, I have.
Okay,
Same.
okay, good.
And so the crew would be broken up, 1 driver, 1 firefighter, is that? what I
Right
understood?
now, that would be correct.
And so the driver would be able to drive any apparatus?
Right now, we're basing the driver off of what we deem as an engine, not a ladder truck. If they would be ladder truck qualified, that's the direction of the 2 other chiefs, since they have the ladder trucks in town. We had to pick somewhere to start, so we kind of picked the engines to start.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
One more, and I'll leave. Steve, the individuals that go on the paid, and are they eliminated from volunteering?
No.
That doesn't affect their volunteer status, right?
No, no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further questions or comments? Okay, agenda item? Thanks, guys.
Move on to item number 8, finance, the 2025 tax anticipation notes. So tax anticipation notes are used by local governments to obtain financing before the tax revenues come in. We have done a tax anticipation note every year, but probably for the last 4 or 5 years, we have not had to take any of that money from the tax anticipation note. Mike Whitico does a great job in our finance department with the revenues and expenditures. So we haven't had to touch that for a number of years. However, just in case we need that, we are moving forward with a proposed tax anticipation note of about $1.5 million for 2025. This was discussed and approved with the Finance Committee earlier this fall.
Questions, comments? Okay, agenda item.
Item number 9, the 2025 real estate tax rate. Every year, the borough sets the tax rate so we can figure out what the real estate tax will be paid to the borough. In 2025, there is no proposed increase to the real estate tax rate, to the earned income tax rate, or the local service tax rate. We'll have one resolution that will cover all three of those items for 2025.
Questions, comments? Okay, agenda item.
Item number 10, 2025 budget adoption. When Mike Whitaker was here last month, he told you about the 2025 budget. We kicked that budget season off in mid-August. Department heads submitted information to the Finance Department in September. Mike and I met with department heads through September and October, and finally with a presentation to the Finance Committee in October of 2024. The proposed budget was presented, as I said, by Mr. Whitaker in November, and it has been advertised and available for inspection to the public as we do every year.
Questions, comments? Okay, that'll be an agenda item also.
Item number 11, a resolution, volunteer fire department earned income tax forgiveness. We've been doing this for a number of years. Act 172 of 2016 allows municipalities to adopt an earned income tax credit, which Plum Boro did do. The Finance Department sends out communication to our volunteer fire departments every year, and those departments have guidelines on how you can be eligible for this tax forgiveness plan. As far as I know, Mike Whitaker has received the responses from all of our fire departments, and we ask the council put this on the agenda for December to provide that tax forgiveness to our volunteer fire department firefighters that do qualify.
Questions, comments? Okay, agenda item.
Item number 12, and Dane, I'll ask for a little input from you here. You and I have discussed this previously. In the past, when we've had a resident request relief from fees and penalties related to a real estate tax bill, we've brought it before council. Dane, you and I talked about whether we were going to do this or not, and I just played it safe, and I let council know that we did have a resident that submitted her tax payment on October 31st, which was the last day to pay the face amount for the real estate tax. The issue was that the tax payment was dropped in a drop box down at the Municipal Authority building where the tax office used to be. Don't know why the box was still there, and don't know why someone still checked that box and found her payment. So Emily DeLuce, our real estate tax collector, received that payment after the deadline in October. So the property owner has requested that the fees be waived and that her payment be considered on time for face value, which would be about a difference of $500 to her. In the past, we've brought these issues before council, and I'd continue to do that. Dana and I have talked about whether or not this could be a decision that the tax collector can make on her own, but I at least wanted to bring it to council, and Dane, get your recommendation on whether this should be an agenda item or not.
Sure. I think it should be an agenda item. I just do not think we should phrase it as waiver of fees, because the way I see it, we're not actually waiving any fees. We're simply correcting the record in that we did receive it. It went into a box marked Plum Boro real estate tax deposits. The wording was still there on the deadline, and we don't dispute it. So what we're commemorating in the record is simply, we did receive this on time, therefore any fees that were applied were clerical error, therefore they're gone, and that's that. It's simple, yep.
Did we remove the box?
Yes, we did.
Okay. I don't see an issue with this. Any comments or questions? Okay, so do we need to reword it before we put it on the agenda?
So, like, as Dana suggested, we'll put it on the agenda just as, to recognize that the payment was received on time.
And I can work with Dave on the wording.
Okay, that'll be on the agenda.
Last item under roads, equipment, and grounds. We've been in this building now for about 2 years, and, we're still working on closing out our contract with Rycon. We're negotiating that closeout, and we're down to a handful of items, but up until now, Rycon had provided the elevator inspections necessary. They contracted that out, and we need to come up with our own inspector for this moving forward. What staff is proposing is a contract with Bureau Veritas. If you remember, Bureau Veritas is already our contractor for building inspection and plan review. And the proposed contract is in your packet, and it's only a few $1,000s, if that, every year. The money is budgeted, but as it is a contract, I wanted to bring it to your attention for approval, recommended approval at the next meeting.
Okay, so will this be a annual thing we're gonna have to read?
So this is the proposed contract is a proposed 3-year contract.
Okay,
We can, if we are unhappy with the service, we can terminate the contract with 30 days' notice. But knowing Bureau Veritas and the services they have provided to us in building inspection, we anticipate no problems.
okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, agenda item.
So that concludes the items. The only items we still remain are the executive session items.
So we're not going to adjourn?
So I would recommend we adjourn to executive session to cover those items.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn, and we're gonna go to an executive session to discuss the other 3 things. Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Mr. McJerney. Do I have a second? Yes, sir. A second by Mr. Taylor. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carries. We are adjourned.
Got the battery problem. It's the working part.